Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking and sharing all of the recent content. We are here today with special guest, ex-Premier League referee Mark Halsey. Mate, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks. Good to speak to you. Good to see you as well. How are these?
Same with you.
Card.com and whatever we use.
Yeah, that's it now. Yeah, we've moved into those days, mate. No more word of mouth talk of football anymore. It's all on social media, isn't it? Yeah, you're in Spain right now, aren't you? The weather's nice, as I can see the sunlight's coming through.
Yeah, I'm just in the bedroom. So, yeah, it's clear blue skies here. And it's about 17, 18 degrees. So it's nice.
Nice, mate. So we just wanted to pretty much get into, when did you realise, Mark, you wanted to become a referee, and how did it happen?
Well, to be honest with you, I never wanted to become a referee. From my playing days, I thought, there's absolutely no chance whatsoever. And it was, to be fair, it was a very dear friend of mine who obviously just passed away. Well, just late part of last year due to COVID. A chap called Russell Foster, who I played with on a Sunday in Welling Hatfield Sunday League. He played at the back, and he was poacher turned goalkeeper. He was an awful player. Well, I wouldn't say awful player, but he'd done things behind the referee's back. You'd never thought he'd be a referee. And but I mean, many years later, I was playing in non-league. For Hertfordstown, Welling Garden City, Cambridge City, and St Albans. I love me cricket as well. I played cricket for many years for a cricket club called Hatfield Hyde in Welling Garden City. And Russell's garden backed onto our cricket pitch, and obviously when you're playing cricket, you walk around the outer pitch, having a good old chat. And his garden backed on. We always used to stop at his house. He used to call me, "Come on, be a referee. Why don't you be?" I said, "You've got absolutely no chance of me being a referee." And to be fair, I thought about it because I suffered a couple of serious injuries, and I thought to myself, because my brother is non-league. He's a non-league manager at Ware Football Club, so he's a manager in non-league. And I thought, do I want to go down that route, or do I want to be a referee? And I thought, do you know what? I think I'll give it a go. Because when I played, I liked referees that let the game flow and engage with the referee, or engage with the players and have a laugh, a joke, but gained the respect of the players because he knew what was going on. So I said to Russell this particular summer, I think it was 1988, I think it was, and I just said, okay, I'll give it a go. I said, but I'm not doing the 8-week course. I said, give me the laws of the game, I'll read the laws of the game, and let me do my exam. And that's what I've done, and I passed, and I never looked back, to be fair. But I was sort of referee. I sort of like to choose, because then in them days you started off as a class 3, then you went to class 2, then you were class 1, then you could move up the ladder. And I was sort of refereeing, decided to referee at the weekends in the Herts County League, and then on a Sunday in the Welling Hatfield Sunday League. And then I turned out for Welling Garden City midweek if they were short of a goalkeeper. So I was sort of refereeing weekends and playing midweek. So, but listen, I mean, when I started sort of getting promoted and moving up the leagues, and that's when I had to, pull the plug on my playing career and just concentrate on refereeing. And it paid off, to be fair. Well, some people will say I should have stuck to playing.
When did it happen, Mark? Like, when did you realise, okay, this is getting serious, and you've got to stop your playing career now, and all sorts of other things that you've got to do?
I think obviously I had the Hearts FA, to thank, a chap called Ken Conium, who was then who was had a lot to do with refereeing in them days. And they sort of said to me, I had what it took to make it all the way, and so did my pal Russell, because he got to the Ishmael League level as a referee, but then obviously failed a fitness test because he was a big old boy, and he always found it hard to keep up with his fitness. But I think as I sort of referee games, I mean, in the Welling Hatfield players knew me. It wasn't until I went far afield, but I think I just think it was the way I refereed. I was a referee that, as I said, I like referees that allowed the game to flow, go in unnoticed, don't go looking for trouble, stay out of it. Have a laugh and a joke with the players, but stamp your authority on the game when I had to. And that doesn't necessarily mean, a card like we're seeing today. We're seeing so many challenges, and the yellow card just comes out straight away. You don't need to referee like that. And that comes from the leadership and the direction of the management. But yeah, I think the way I sort of I went put in for promotion, I got that, and then I put in again for promotion, I got that, and I just seemed to move up. And before I knew it, I was refereeing in the Football League. In 1996, I was promoted to the Football League. So, from 1988 to then to 1996, and then I'm in the middle of the national list. It was a pretty a rapid rise. In them days.
Mark, when did you get into the Premier League? When did that come about?
Premier League, then obviously 1996 into the Football League, and then 1999 season 1999-2000 I was promoted into the Premier League.
Nice. I mean, you must have thought, right, I've reached the pinnacle now, because obviously it's one of the biggest leagues in the world, and you're on the main stage. It's a lot of pressure, of course, in the job as well.
Yeah, it's obviously it comes with the territory, but you never stop learning. You never not stop learning after each game, and listen, every game I refereed, whether I was in League One, League Two, the Premier League, I treat it as if it was a cup final. You have to treat every game the same. I referee no differently in the Premier League into when I was in the Championship, League One, League Two, it's exactly the same. And because you never know when it's going to be your last game, and especially when you're they know you're a Premier League referee, and you're going down to League One or League Two. You don't want them singing Premier League. You're having a laugh. You get all that, and because they know, Halsey, go back to the Premier League. We don't want you down here. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's why I sort of always treated them, with the respect they deserve. Because you don't mean to say just because you're refereeing in the Premier League week in, week out, doesn't mean to say League One and League Two can't have Premier League referees as well. They deserve the best as well, because they're no different. League One, League Two, Championship, they're no different to the Premier League. Yeah. So there's more football that goes on outside the Premier League and what it does within the Premier League. So they all deserve, the best referees.
Got one here, a comment from Paul Slater, if you know him. He says he was a right back for Essendon Fairway for 10 years in the Welling Hatfield League back in the early.
Essendon. I played for them as well on a Sunday. Essendon, Smith and Nephew, Smith, Klein and French.
Is that what it stands for? Okay,
yeah. It was in them days. Smith, Klein and French. Obviously, they're not there anymore. I think they become part of Glaxo. Yeah. What's the question?
I think he was just saying basically he was a right back for Essendon Fairway for 10 years in the late 80s, early 90s. So maybe he's wondering if you remember him or not. But this quite a way back, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I was before then. Dave Lawrence was our manager when I was playing. Dave, we had a good side on a Sunday there. Well, at Essendon. I think Paul might have come at the end, because I played. I was early. I was the early 80s, and then obviously, then I sort of took up refereeing. So, but no, Paul. I'm just trying to think. No, I think he might have been I think he was just after I'd sort of finished. But Dave Lawrence was our manager, and we won. I always remember playing in the cup final. I think it was the President's Cup final, and obviously it went to penalties. And I always remember the two goalkeepers had to take the penalties. Everyone had scored, and so it was going knockout then. So their goalkeeper took a penalty. I saved it, and then it was my turn to take a penalty. We had practiced penalties the day before, and I'd been hitting them quite well. So I stepped up myself. Oh God! If I score this, we've won the game. So obviously, I put the ball in the back of the net, and I've gone on my run, everyone jumping on top of me. So, yeah, I mean, that's some good memories, some great memories playing football. Made some really good friends. Sadly, some of them aren't.
Oh, we've lost Mark there. He'll be back in a minute, everybody. I'm pretty sure he will. It's really good chat at the moment. I'm going to read out a few comments as well. Where's the nun's outfit, Matt? Well, it will be on eventually when we do something maybe for charity or something. I'm pretty sure Mark will be back on in a minute. There's probably some difficulties with the Wi-Fi in Spain. So is everybody doing okay? Everybody doing okay? You never know what can happen on a live stream. Paul Slater says he played for Lemsford. I will ask him that when he comes back in. You played in that game, did you, Paul? That's brilliant. Samin Shah, how are you doing? How are you doing indeed? We got one here from Talk MU. I will ask him all these questions. You said, Mark, what is your take on the interpretation of overturned decisions by VAR? Well, I'm not going to answer them. I will let him answer them for sure. Right. Then you used, what was this then? Paul Slater says, then you used to ref our games. Okay. Right. He's probably having some difficulties with the Wi-Fi at the moment. So if we can just hang tight for a second, everything should be all right. Here we go. He's back.
Sorry, mate.
It's all right, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
some reason,
you there?
the battery went flat. The battery went flat.
Oh, no, that's all right, mate. I thought it might be the Wi-Fi as well.
Oh, right. I thought you'd give me the red card.
I wouldn't do that to you, Mark. I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. I was going to say, Mark, I remember you used to ref some of our games as well when I was younger, playing with Jason and that. Do you remember?
I mean, Jason, at Pangzanger.
It was a Goslin. I don't know if I remember one specific game. It was the last game of the season. We were playing at De Havilland, and I think we won about 16-0. I'm sure Jason scored about 9 of them. He was pretty good back then. But I whipped a really lovely ball from left back, like took out the whole team. And I remember when the goal went in, you ran over to me and you were like, "That was a terrific ball, mate. Real terrific." That.
That was many years ago. Many years ago.
It was. So is it enjoyment as well being a ref, like when you ref games? Like, do you get enjoyment in play? Do you get to do that?
Of course you can. Of course you can enjoy it. I mean, just because people think, oh, yeah, they're well paid superstars and idols. I mean, you're just refereeing another football match between 22 players, and you've got to go out there and smile. You've got to go out there and enjoy it. And of course you do. I mean, obviously, we're all football fans, we're football lovers, and when you are refereeing a game, you think, God, what a ball that was. Or I remember refereeing Newcastle Everton, and Alan Shearer scored an absolute wonder goal from about 25 yards, and it was absolute. And I was right, but I went, "That's a goal, that's a goal." And I said that many times, in games. I just went up to him and I just shook his hand and said, "What a terrific strike." And that's the things you do, You can laugh with the players, you can smile with the players, you can have a joke with them. You can be, they can have a right go at you. You can have a go back at them and say, "Well, you're looking at my performance. What about yourself with that pass? You're not doing too bad. You're not doing too good yourself." Do you know what I mean? So you can have that rapport, and it's so important that you engage with the players and have that rapport and earn that respect from the players. And of course, that comes with your correct decision making. And looking at what's going on around you, having the awareness of what's going on around you, and just nipping things in the bud. So you've got, it's about managing the situation, managing the games, and managing the events. And if you get the respect of the players, then that's half the battle.
Did you have any any spats from any players, like any good times or bad times with people you thought, "Oh God, he's hard to ref, like he's giving me such a hard time," and other players that were easy to ref? Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, listen. They all, when they think they've been wronged, all players will come and have a go at you. All of them, they'll all have a go. And then I'm not going to name any individual players, but you do have spats on the pitch with them.
Yeah.
You have good times. You have good conversations. You have good banter, and then other times you don't have good banter, and and that's what it's about. That's what the 90 minutes is about. And when the final whistle blows, you all shake your hands and you walk off, having a smile, and sometimes perhaps they're not too happy with your performance. And I could turn around and say, "Well, I wasn't happy with your performance, the way you kept talking to me." But it was a pleasure, to be a referee at that level. I mean, I loved every minute of it, and we've got to thank the Premier League for allowing us to go full time, because it helped us enormously.
So what do the physical training that you have to put in for being a referee is quite tough? Do you think that's changed now? Do you think it's more daunting to do for a referee? Because I see, I think Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher did a fitness workout. I think it was on Sky. And even they said, wow, this is like challenging, you know, like.
Yeah, obviously it is. I mean, when I was on, it was 6 sprints in under 6 seconds, and then you had to do 20 150-meter runs in 30 seconds. You know, with 30 seconds rest, and that was tough. But now it's changed to 40, I believe 40 75-meter sprints in 15 seconds with that same rest. So it is tough. You know, it is tough, and of course, as you get older, you know, your body doesn't want to
No.
your head tells you, but your body just doesn't want to do it, you know. So, but it is tough. I mean, it is tough, and of course, you know, they have to train. You know, obviously they're full time. They have to train, and they have to download their data and send it to the sports scientists, because if they're not doing what they should be, then they get disciplined.
Yeah, that's right. Do they have like stats and statistics that they got to look at and say, look, I need to do better?
Absolutely. I mean, their body fat. They have their body fat. Well, I mean, obviously, when they were meeting every year, used to meet up every 2 weeks. Used to have your body fat done. I'm not sure how they're doing it at the present, because obviously they're not having meetings because then, you know, obviously because of the COVID. But when we got together, when you do get together every 2 weeks, you have your body fat taken, your weight taken, and then the sports science would tell you if you've put on a few pounds or you've put on a little bit of body fat, you've got to come down and got to sort your diet out. What's your diet? And tells you what to eat, what not to eat, when not to eat. So it's all, you know, it's all just like the professional football players. It's no different. Referees are no different at present.
It's a box to box player, isn't it? You know, you've got to be everywhere on the field. You've got to be in the right.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, it was, you know, the assessors, get yourself wide and deep. Well, you don't, you know, this day and age, you don't do that anymore. You just go box. It's just box, you know, across the, you know, right to left, you know, box to box. That's all you're doing. You just come off that control path, or that path if you think something's going to go on, because you're aware there's something going to go on between the two players, and you just come off that patrol path, you know, box to box, from where it's right to left, you know, that box to box corner. So yeah, listen, the game's changed an awful lot. You know, from 25, 30 years ago, from when I was playing.
What do you make of the referees in the profession today, and what do you think of the implementation of VAR? Do you think it eases the pressure on refs and it is good, or do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think it's ruining the game?
Well, you know, I think you know, if we look at VAR, I think so far it's been implemented incorrectly. Okay, because VAR only gets involved if the on-field officials have made a clear and obvious error. Obviously, with offsides, that's fact. Or was it inside or was it outside the box? That's fact. But on subjective decisions, VAR should only get involved when there's a clear and obvious error or a serious incident missed by the on-field match officials. And we're seeing too much involvement when it's subjective and it's not a clear and obvious error. And that's the problem and that's why we're seeing so many inconsistencies at present with VAR. No one knows anymore what a penalty is. No one knows anymore what a handball is. And it's not, you know, that is the fault. That is the fault of the PML organisation and their implementation of telling their referees what they should get involved and what they shouldn't get. I don't blame them. It's difficult for the referees, but you know, the IFA protocol is simple. And also, you know, you're looking at that screen and they're watching so many things in slow motion. When you can look at slow motion 5 or 6 times and you can make any decision you want out of slow motion. If you want to find a decision in slow motion, you'll find it. Now, you know, you should be watching it in real time. And far too often now we're seeing it in slow motion, and that's not what the IFAB protocol says.
So why do you think they are choosing to do that? And do you think it is people that don't necessarily understand the ruling? Is that why?
Well, I think what we're seeing at the moment, we're seeing so many penalties given, aren't we, for the slightest of contact. Now, listen, you can't blame the players for that, because sometimes as referees, that could be our fault, because we've seen penalties that should have been given when the player stay on their feet, and referees don't give it because it's a credibility issue. Because if the player don't go and think, well, that can't be a foul, you don't give it. But if he does go to ground, then it's asking a question of the referee. So for me, you can't be critical of players when there's contact in the box and they go down. Okay,
Yeah.
but what we've got to remember is it's a contact sport, and we've seen penalties given this season where the on-field referee's not given them. He's right there. He's in a great view, where there's been the slightest of contact, and then VAR have got involved. Those sort of, I'm thinking one off the top of my head. Sheffield United, Fulham. Fulham are winning 1-0. Last few minutes, Sheffield United get a penalty. Ball's around, player goes to clear it, and then also he just kicks the underneath of his studs, the underneath of his boots. So they just beat him to it. Now, referee Andre Mann was right. I thought it was correct not to give a penalty. Was that a clear and obvious error? No, it wasn't. So why has VAR got involved? Andre Man's then gone and looked at the screen under pressure, and then come back and given the penalty. And I think it's vital that we hear the conversations between Stocklock and the referee. So then everybody knows what's going on. Everybody can hear the conversation between the two, referee and Stockley Park. So everybody can learn and see what their thought process is into looking at that, looking at penalty decisions or red card decisions.
Sort of like rugby. It works in rugby, doesn't it? You always hear the conversations going on.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
What was I going to say?
I mean, listen, we've got some good referees. We have got some good referees. You look at Michael Oliver. I think he's. I mean, listen, people are going to agree to disagree with me, but I think Michael Oliver is by far the best referee, in my opinion. And then obviously you got the experience of Martin Atkinson. He's like a bottle of red wine. You got an aged bottle, and it goes. It's better and better and better. But I think we've got a couple of young guys coming through. You've got Anthony Taylor. You've got the experience of love or loathe him, Mike Dean. He's very experienced, not afraid to make a big decision. And obviously an Andre Mariner, and we've got some. Having a young guy come through. I think he's got the potential. As Andy Madley, I think he's got great potential. But some of them, I just think sometimes they're just too aggressive on the field of play. They're just too aggressive, and they don't engage. They don't smile. They don't look like they're enjoying it. But I think the problem we have with a lot of the referees, I mean, coaches. You have really good coaches that coach players. They turn the average player into good players and good players into excellent players. That's so different with referees. Unfortunately, we haven't got the quality of coaches at that level to bring on our young referees. And our referees come onto the Premier League. And Craig Pawson was one. Bobby Madley when he came on. I thought they were really good referees when they first come on. First season, I thought they were really good, but they all of a sudden, after a couple of years, and they take 3 steps forward and then 2 steps backwards. And that's their fault. And for me, that's down to the coaching of these individuals. And it's important that we have the quality coach or the quality coaches to look after these guys. And unfortunately, we haven't got that at the moment at the top level. We've got, too many really good ex-referees that are not in the game in England.
I agree with that completely as well, Mark. Another question here, afternoon. I have 2 questions for Mark. What does Mark think of an appeal system similar to tennis where each team gets a certain amount of VAR appeals? Also, how do you pronounce his surname? Okay.
Say again, sorry, I couldn't. Is it, the mic's a bit. What was the question?
Oh my, yes. So he said, what does Mark think of an appeal system similar to tennis where each team gets a certain amount of VAR appeals?
Well, like we have in cricket. Listen, I'm not so sure that would work in football, and that would have to come through the IFAB and the FIFA, and I can't ever see that working personally. Listen. I think it works where it is. It works in other leagues around the world. I know it works very well in the MLS and in the Bundesliga. And if we look at MLS, they have 1 review every 3 games. That's what it's working out. 1 review every 3 games. Now in the Premier League, we're seeing 1, 2, 3 nearly every game, aren't we? So obviously, you know, we're doing it. We're not implementing it correctly, and also they put their conversations between the referee and the VAR on their Twitter feed. You can hear the conversation between them, so which is a good as well. So I think if it's used correctly or implemented correctly, you don't need that where a team official can have one or two reviews.
Got another one here, Mark, for you. This is going to take you back a little bit. What are your memories of the '99 Division 2 playoff final between Man City versus Gillingham? So many late goals in the game, including an equaliser so very deep into injury time.
I mean, yeah, listen, I mean, that was my first game at Wembley, the old Wembley. I've been fortunate enough to referee at the old Wembley and the new Wembley. And listen, you know, appearing at Wembley is fantastic. And it's just the same for us, you know, referees as it is for the players. You know, I remember walking, I mean, the dressing room at the old Wembley Stadium was like, it's like a matchbox. You barely fit 4 officials in the dressing room for the referees. But the new Wembley's better. It's massive. It's massive. But listen, I always remember walking out to that full house at Wembley, you know, with Gillingham, Man City, my first ever final, and walking up that slope onto the pitch. I mean, it just brought the hairs out on the back of your neck. It was, you know, it was a fantastic feeling, and one that I'll never forget. I know the Gillingham fans never forgive me for the only time that I played, and then Man City come back. But there's always going to be one half of the crowd that don't like you, and another half of the crowd that do love you. And,
yeah,
Gillingham didn't like me, and Man City did. And as I said, I must have put Man City back on the map because they went forward and forward and forward after that. They never looked back.
You can't please everybody, Mark, can you? Game, unfortunately. You'd like to be able to give Gillingham a chance, but you're not allowed to. So, you know, you did the right thing, I think. Got another one here from Indiana. Shout out to Indiana. Do managers or crowds ever have any influence over decisions, Mark?
No, I mean, listen. When you're refereeing out there, you know, in full teams, you're just mentally focused and you're concentrating what the job in hand, and you're just absolutely focused of because if you switch off, you just totally switch off, then you get things wrong and you make errors, and so you don't tend to, you know, you tend to just block it out. You don't hear what they're shouting. You don't hear the fans calling you all sorts. Sometimes when the game is stopped, you know, you may hear, you know, a word or two from the crowd or from you know, from managers. But I normally just say to the manager, I just tell the fourth official, you've got a problem, come and see me at half time. Don't come on the pitch. Don't come and demonstrate with me on the pitch. Come into my dressing room and we'll have a chat at half time or full time. Didn't happen many times. Didn't happen too many times.
But you dealt with it all right, though. You know, like, respected you anyway as a referee. I'm pretty sure. Like, I saw a picture as well. You with Scholes as well, one of my favourite players of all time. Like, was it for a charity event you did? Oh, and this question here, Mark.
Yeah, that was when I refereed Vincent Company's testimonial at the Etihad. So that was, yeah. I mean, obviously that come from the rapport you have when you referee them players. You know, all with Gary Neville and Paul Scholes. I mean, listen, when you refereed Paul Scholes, you knew you was going to get. You just knew what you were getting from him. So he would never do anything behind your back, and you knew, you know, if he one of those challenges, he was going to come in, and he knew he was. You know, and I was always talking to him. Scholesy, calm down, cut it. No, don't dive in. Don't, you know, oh, Scholesy, we do that for you. Yellow card, okay, Mark, I deserve that. No, you know, so that's what, you know, he was great on the field. You know, great to talk with. You know,
you never had to give him a red card, then, no, Mark.
But I remember Craig Bellamy coming on in the game. He didn't change. straight away.
Mark, with all the trolls and abuse that go on in current social media realms, how do you find it dealing with it then in comparison to what you see now, if you do?
If what? Sorry.
I think basically what you're saying is the trolling that you get on social media and what refs can get on social media compared to what you had back in your day.
Yeah, listen, the guys in PGML, they're not on social media, or they go on game or someone does them. You don't see them on social. I mean, I was never on social media until I finished refereeing, and obviously what I do with my job now and certain things and certain charities that I do, I went on social media. So I remember refereeing a certain game. And I did pick up some horrendous abuse. Well, listen, I mean, me and my family. As a referee, that's what you sign up for. I can take it when it involved my family. That was when that's when it crossed that line. You know, some horrific things regarding my wife and my daughter was just and I can't repeat that what went on there, because it was just simply horrific. But it's just, I mean, I get now on Twitter. And I just be respectful, you know. So you know, they've got their insults, their opinion. You know, and I just, as I say, I just go back to them saying, listen, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect your opinion, and that's it. And I leave it at that. And come back and say, okay, yeah, thanks, Mark. So that, you know, if you can't accept it, then don't be on social media. You know, come off it, because people are going to still criticise me. People, you know, go back to I still get criticism from now about certain games. I got criticism today, back in 2004 when I refereed Fulham Arsenal.
Someone's still
an
holding
interview
that.
I'd done, and I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have done it. I mean, I was experienced. I thought I was doing the right thing. Right, rollicky manager then at the time, Keith Hackett, rightly so. And that was, I think that was one where I can honestly say that I wasn't a Premier League referee that day. I wasn't. I come back from a trip abroad refereeing in midweek. I was very tired, didn't feel too good, and I shouldn't have done the game. But you know, as I said, he was absolutely correct. I had no training, and I shouldn't have done it. I mean, the interview would be a lot different now, you know. So, but listen, you know, you learn by your mistakes. You learn by your mistakes, and that's what you've done as a referee. When you made an error, you look at the reasons why you make that error, and you know, you delve deeply into it, and then you park it and move on. Hopefully, you don't make that mistake again.
Someone I knew Indiana was going to say it. Ferguson, was he a tough manager to ref against? Because he still gets it even today. I see it in social media about Alex Ferguson and like trying to influence refs and that. Like, was he a tough manager to deal with?
No, I mean, listen, I've heard recently that, you know, United used to get, you know, a lot more decisions out of referees, and I mean, I can only speak for myself on that, but that is absolutely nonsense. Absolutely nonsense from what I've been hearing in the last few days. So I just say that. I mean, I put it a lot more strongly, but I can't on it. I have to watch my P's and Q's. So, no, listen, listen, you just have to. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I mean, I don't know. I'm not interested. I wasn't interested in the other referee. I'm just interested in myself and my personal performance, the way I conducted myself. And I always used to say, it doesn't cost you anything to be polite and smile. And refereeing on the league many years, and I made some very good friends at football clubs, because you see them year in, year out. You know, I'm still very good friends with Jimmy Martin, the kit manager at Everton. You know, for a drink together. He's got a place in Spain here. When he comes out, we go out, we play paddles together, we have a drink, we have dinner, you know, and that's the way it is. But when we crossed that line, people knew me. Players, managers knew me. They knew my style. And when Mark Halsey crossed that white line, you knew exactly what you're going to get out of me for that 90 minutes. And so, no, I mean, managers didn't influence me whatsoever.
I was going to say as well, because the last comment, then I'm going to ask you about what you're up to now, your charity work and stuff. But do you think the mind games from managers ever have any effect on any refs? The fact that they have their own spats, the managers, does it have any effect? I wouldn't say so, but
none whatsoever. None whatsoever. I have to say that. You know, I mean, when I was refereeing, I done, you know, obviously for me, every game was a big game, whether I was in the Prem, Championship, League One, or League Two. Every game was a big for me. And you just don't watch their interviews. You just don't watch their pre-match interview on TV. You don't watch it. and then you got nothing. You ain't got to worry about anything. Just even if I did watch him, bother me. Just as I said, you go out, you referee what's in front of you. End of.
Agreed, mate. Just to quickly finish up, Mark, like just tell us about what you're up to. You said you're doing charity work and that, if you want to shout them out and let us know what it's all about.
Yeah, listen, I do. Listen, I'm a proud ambassador of the Steve Prescott Foundation. Raising money for people battling cancer. Obviously, I've had my battles with cancer. My wife's got her battles with cancer, with leukemia. So, I like to do things. I've done a couple of events with them. Climbed Kilimanjaro, what was fantastic. Tough, very tough. Done a walk from Land's End to John O'Groats. That was fantastic as well. So listen, at the moment, obviously I do my newspaper column. Do bits on the radio. I do bits with media outlets and podcasts. So not too much money. So, sitting on the corner with my little pot, hoping someone will throw a few euros in it for me. But no, listen. I just love what I'm doing. I'm enjoying life now. So I mean, listen, with what we've faced this last year with COVID, and my heart goes out to everybody that's lost people through COVID, and obviously through all the illnesses as well, because obviously the illnesses have taken fiddle. People that are suffering with mental health and all sorts of cancer problems, and it's just it's just heartbreaking, really. It's heartbreaking, some of the things that you see and hear. So we've just got to stay positive, and we've got to look after each other. That's what we need to do. And, as I say, hope everybody stays safe out there and enjoy and smile. And it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't cost you a penny to be polite and smile with anybody.
Brilliant. Well put there, Mark. I just said exactly the same thing. Like the fact that kindness can go a long way. You know what I mean? And you don't necessarily have to get anything back. Just be yourself, be you, be the better person that you can be in life. Do you know what I mean? And spread that to everybody else and show them that, like you said, much just to be polite and smile. Mark, you were saying you're looking forward to the football this weekend. It's starting at 1:30. What team do you support? Just before we finish off, I don't even think I asked you.
Well, my team is QPR. Go on, you O's! We just signed Charlie Austin. He scored against Luton midweek, so took us up the table a little bit. So that's my team. My family are from Shepherd's Bush. Always been a QPR fan.
What do you think the result's going to be this weekend? You are playing today, aren't you? Right? Is it QPR playing today?
Sorry?
QPR, are they playing today?
No, it's been called off. We should have been playing Wycombe Wanderers, but they've problems, so they had to postpone the game.
Right, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure you'll make it up into the Premier League again, QPR. Do you know what I mean? They're one of them sorts of clubs, I think, that deserves to be at least getting there every other year. Do you know what I mean? And they haven't been up for a few years now, have they?
Yeah. Well, if we can stay out of League One, then we've done well.
Yeah, Sunderland can't seem to get out of there, can they? It's a dodgy place to be, isn't it?
As I say, if we can.
Oh, I can't hear you there, Mark. You're right.
You're muffled, so.
That's all right, mate. We're going to finish off anyway now. Do you want to shout out your social medias, let everyone know where they can follow you or hear about the things that you're doing with your charities and stuff?
You're sorry?
Do you want to shout out your socials and let everyone know where they can follow you and your charities?
If people want to make any donations regarding. I mean, listen, there's people out there that are living.
I think I think we're losing connection here, Mark.
Is the Steve Foundation.
I think we got that. I think we got it. It's a little bit dodgy on this side here, Mark. Do you want me to try and chuck you out and chuck you back in?
Welcome.
Can you hear me, mate? Can't seem to get hold of.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Come back in, Mark. Come back in. We'll shout them out and then we'll finish it off. If you just come back in, I'll. It's that Wi-Fi in Spain, isn't it? There we go. Is that better? No, it's completely gone. Oh no! if you pull yourself out, Mark, and then click back on the link, we'll let you back in there. I think he's left. So just kicked him out for a second there. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for that. Little difficulties with the stream there. I'm thinking maybe it might be to do with the Wi-Fi in Spain. Really good chat though. Thank you, Lauren. Great interview, Matt. Paul Slater's getting in on the comments as well. I'm just going to write to him. Sorry, everybody. Yes, you can't always predict how these things are going to go. Do you know what I mean? When you're doing a live. So just want to say thanks so much for Mark for coming on as well. He's talked a lot of good stuff there. Here we go. Let's see if this works. There we go, Mark. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. Just shout out. There you go, Mark. That's better. There we go. If you want to shout out shout that all out again, because I don't think it actually came through. But if you want to do that for us, Mark, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah. Listen, as I'm an ambassador for the Prescott Foundation, for people that are battling cancer, and I'm sure there's, hundreds of thousands of families out there that have got people that are, family members that are battling with cancer, and the SPF Foundation, the FPS Foundation, to help that are battling with cancer. We've raised, as I said, I've climbed Kilimanjaro, raising money. Done a walk from Land's End to John O'Groats. Been fantastic, really enjoyable. Hard work, the Kilimanjaro, mind. Hardest thing I've ever done. But any donation be welcome to the SPF Foundation. Would be fantastic, because you never know. It may be you tomorrow, next week, that gets that dreaded illness, and I'm fighting to give cancer the red card.
Same here, mate, as well. My mum's been going through it this year as well, so she's going through the radiotherapy at the moment. So it's been one of those years, But Mark, thank you so much for coming.
It's been an awful year.
Has, mate. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, and we'll hopefully get you back on again. I know the Wi-Fi's been brilliant. Everybody, thank you for tuning in today.
Yeah.
Please do subscribe, share, like. Go follow Mark on Twitter and go check out all of his charities that he does. Rewind back, take note of what he said on where to do that. And everybody have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the football. Take care.
Take care. All the best. Bye-bye, all. Stay safe, and Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.